Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm Jake, and with me as always, Steven, the Far Cry guy, the Stream King, and the Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger. Oh, that's good.
Because you're a ranger in Anthem.
That's really good.
You're trying really hard to make the ranger work in Anthem. So
I will make that class work if it kills me.
Hence the Lone Ranger. Steven, how you been, man?
I've been good. I've been doing all right. It's been a busy week. A lot's been going on.
Busy week.
But all in all,
This week flew by because I was gone all week on a shoot, and so coming back, I jumped straight into Anthem, and now it's next week already.
Yep.
So, but this week I don't have any shoots or any big shoots like out of town, so I'm gonna be playing Anthem like every night. It's great. I'm excited.
So we'll actually have a team up Tuesday this week.
Yes, we will have. We will probably have a team up Tuesday, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Right now, if you didn't know, this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about TV shows, anime, movies, video games, mostly video games. I don't know why I always start with TV shows. Yeah, especially today. Heavy on the video games today. And this airs every Monday, 12 o'clock Central Time. You can be a part of the show by writing in to chortlecast@gmail.com. You can send in news stories you've heard this week about games, topics you'd like to hear us talk about, anything else, questions for us, whatever. You can send those in. You can also do that through our Discord. That's Chortle. It's on our YouTube banner, and it's in the description of this video. And if you're an audio listener, it's in the description of this podcast. You can get there. We got a channel set up for that and all that good stuff. You can also tweet us at Chortle Games and on Facebook at Chortle Games, and we'll probably see that. We'll make a note for the podcast and all that good stuff. But anyway, we got a great show for you this week. We're going to be talking about Anthem. We're going to be talking about, God rest his soul, Reggie Fils-Aimé leaving Nintendo. And,
he's not dead.
I know he's not, but I can still rest his soul. You know what I mean?
Okay.
His meme is dead. You know what I mean? We killed a meme today. And then also some rumors of Xbox games coming to Switch. Very exciting stuff. But first, we're not going to do catch up. We're going to just go straight into the news. We're gonna do this a little different, Steven. We're gonna do some catch up stuff at the end of this podcast. So we're gonna try to
save your fries. Save your fries and burgers for the end of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, because the catch-up is at the end.
I like it. That's good. That's real good. Okay. All right. Well, we're just going to jump right in. So, yeah, the meme is dead. Reggie Fils-Aimé, president of Nintendo America, steps down. He is donezo. He retired. Steven, he's retiring in April. Good. How devastated are you?
I love Reggie. I think everyone loves Reggie.
I love Reggie.
But good for him, honestly. Like, he had a heck of a career, and like when I heard that he was stepping down, I was like, what kind of career move is that? Nintendo is positioned better in the West than they've possibly ever been.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But he is. We do know that now that he is just retiring from the industry. Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah. So IGN reports Nintendo officially announced the transition this afternoon. After 15 years at Nintendo of America, almost 13 of which were as president and COO, Fils-Aimé will retire on April 15th. And then the current SVP of Sales and Marketing, which is what Reggie was before he became president, current SVP of Sales and Marketing, Doug Bowser, will replace Reggie as president, which is just hilarious. So
he finally took over.
I know. Well, what's so funny to me about this is the internet's reaction to this news. Yeah. Because I've known for a while about Doug Bowser and like that he was the sales and marketing, and I've always found that funny because it's like, oh, Bowser is over sales and marketing. Like, right. He's the one being like, "Where's my money?" You know. Mario, you got to get more money. So
the money's in another castle.
Yeah, the money's in another castle. So it's been really entertaining to see all the people posting like Bowser in a business suit with like a big cigar, saying
Did you see the picture that he posted of like thanks for all of the good wishes?
No, I didn't.
It's him holding a sign that says like thanks for the warm welcome, and you can see there are like Goombas and Koopa plush toys behind him on like a shelf. But if you look closely, Mario and Luigi are tied up with a GameCube controller or something on the shelf.
No, I didn't see that. But anyway,
really clever, really funny.
So they, IGN asked Reggie, why, or in his statement, he said, Nintendo owns a part of my heart forever. It's a part that is filled with gratitude for incredible talent, for the incredibly talented people I've worked with, for the opportunity to represent such a wonderful brand, and most of all, to feel like a member of the world's most positive and enduring gamer community. As I look forward to departing in both good health and good humor, this is not a game over for me, but instead a leveling up to more time with my wife, family, and friends. First off, I love that little bit of humor there. Second off, good for him. Like, you know what I mean? He's had a successful career. He's like, look, I'm old, but I'm not dead yet. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm just gonna quit. I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead, and spend time with my family and kids, and that's great. Kudos for him.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
good for him.
Good for him.
Good work, Reggie.
The meme is dead. His body's still ready, but the meme is dead. But that's okay. We'll forgive him for all of that. Moving on though, kind of on the topic of Switch and Nintendo. This is what I'm gonna start with. There is rumor, Steven, that Scalebound lives. I just made a weird hand symbol that means nothing. Scalebound lives. Scalebound, for those of you that don't know, it is rumored right now. It's being developed by Platinum Games. It is rumored right now.
Jake's ultimate game that never was.
I'll get there. It was canceled. It was an Xbox exclusive game that got me to buy an Xbox. It got canceled. It was being developed by Platinum. It has a dragon, a bow, and a sword. And you're in a weird, crazy world. You can fly. You can ride your dragon. Basically, any box that I have, you can use magic. Any box that I have was checked. Like Steven said, ultimate Jake game that never came to be.
Jake game that never was. Yeah.
Exactly. It's online. It's multiplayer. It was everything. It was everything. Yep. It got canceled. Really sad. Really devastating. In fact, I think episode 3 or 4 of this podcast, there's an image. You can go find the podcast episode where this was announced, because the thumbnail for that image is me like crying, and like I put my face over the body of the main character in that game. So anyway, super sad. Anyway, there are rumors right now. Nintendo and Platinum have a good thing going. Platinum's making a new Switch exclusive. They're doing Bayonetta and all this and that. They've always had a good working relationship. There is rumors that Scalebound is going to be revived as a Switch exclusive, and I am going to like lose my shit and cry if that is the real deal.
Yep.
I really, really hope that is true. Steven, what do you think? Is this wishful thinking, or where are you at with this?
I think that it's entirely possible, because Scalebound was well enough along that it was over 70% complete.
I don't remember how far along it was, but they had shown two pretty, maybe not extensive, but they had shown 2 or 3 demo/trailers. It actually, now that I'm thinking about it actually reminds me a lot of how they showed Anthem, at least like at E3. They never did any like live streams of like, hey, here's us flying with our custom dragons. They never did anything like that.
Right.
But a lot of the game feels like Anthem now that I'm sitting here remembering.
So, and this is also a rumor, right? Not yet confirmed.
This is a rumor.
Yeah. I think with everything, with all of the buzz that's been going on right now with the relations between Microsoft and Nintendo, it's entirely possible. And with Platinum having as good of a relationship with Nintendo as they do, especially with them making, what was it, Yu-Gi-Oh! Police? What did we call that game?
I call it Yu-Gi-Oh! Police, but it's called Astral Plane or something like that.
Astral Chain. That's what it was.
Astral Chain. See, I got it right.
Yeah. I think that it's possible that it would be revived, but I do think it would be a while before it came out. But I think that would be really cool, and I think it would feel right at home on the Switch.
I do too. Well, anything feels good on the Switch. I'm a little nervous that it wouldn't run well on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be similar to Anthem, where like you have your dragon and you're in an online world where your friends and their custom dragons could come in and y'all could go do missions together. Right. So I don't know. It could go either way, but I hope it's true. I hope it's true. But you mentioned that, yeah, there's a lot of buzz going on right now. We've already had news that Xbox Live is coming to Switch. By all accounts, it's basically an app. Like, you're not going to be able to, like, at this point, having Xbox Live there does not give you access to any Xbox games or anything like that. Supposedly, it's unclear. I've listened to several people talk about this, and no one is really sure how this is going to work. But it seems like you may be able to use the online service on the Switch, meaning I could play Splatoon online using Xbox Live instead of having a Nintendo Switch online. It's unclear. A lot of people have debated that. I'm just saying that's what some people think it may be doing. Other people think it's just going to show you your achievements. It's going to link, if you've got a game that you can play on Xbox that you have on the Switch, it'll, you can cross progress achievements and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of uncertainty about what that's going to mean, but it is coming. Now the rumor is that Xbox Game Pass is coming, and with that, access to Xbox Game Pass games, meaning we can play Sea of Thieves on.
Can I share my thoughts on that real quick?
Yes.
Why does anyone own an Xbox at this point?
I don't know, and if this does come to be, that's the nail in the coffin for my Xbox. I mean, I've had my Xbox. I've got an Xbox One that I bought for Scalebound. I justified the purchase with, I forget what the name of that game was called. It was like the lady with the robot dog. Do you remember what that was called, Steven?
Oh, Recore.
Recore, that's it. I justified it because I got that game as well. But then when they canceled Scalebound, I was like, well, great. I'm never going to use this now. Ended up keeping it for Sea of Thieves. And then we all know how that turned out.
Yep.
Not well. And then it's just been sitting here. In fact, I just looked at it and it had a bunch of dirt on it. And I don't even know where the dirt came from. I don't know how the dirt got there. So it's just been taking up space. So if this happens, yeah, I'm done. But I think all the rumors we've been hearing about Xbox is their next console may not even be a console. I forget what they're calling it now, Project Phoenix or something, which is the the streaming service thing that they've got going. Yep. I still think it's entirely possible that they may make an Xbox 2 or whatever they want to call it. But I think more so they're going to say, hey, here's our new service, Xbox Cloud, let's call it. And you can play any Xbox games on any device. Yes, you can play it on your Switch. In fact, you can do that right now with Xbox Game Pass. Like, and then they'll say all that, and then it's like, still want a console from us because we're the best? Here's your Xbox X 2.057S, whatever they want to call it. That seems like where they're headed. So I think it's entirely possible that, they're going to launch Game Pass on the Switch, and suddenly you have that. Which, I'm going to be honest with you, if they do that, I'm probably going to get Games Pass and play their games on my Switch. Yep. I don't see any reason why not to, especially if this whole thing works. Like, you know this. I've been very skeptical from the get-go of this whole idea of streaming games to like your phone, and streaming like a full game to your phone. I don't think that's going to work as well, especially in rural parts of the country like you and I live in, where internet can be hit or miss. I don't know how that's going to work, but if it could work, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I just think it's funny how Microsoft is actively making decisions that lessen their own value. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they did this, I don't see why, if Project Xbox One Cloud, whatever they call it, if that does come to exist, why on earth would you buy an Xbox?
Yep.
It's not going to play your PlayStation games. It's not going to play your Nintendo Switch games. But potentially, those systems will play your Xbox games at that point.
Yeah.
So, other than if you really like bought into, oh yeah, man, the Xbox X021.47S is the best console on the market, man. Like, it just runs so buttery smooth. Like, unless you really, really, really care about that, I don't know why you wouldn't get a Switch or a PlayStation to play.
Yeah.
Because also, thinking about it this way, if it is all going to be streamed, even with their console, like, what does it matter if it runs buttery smooth? Because all the processing power is going to be happening in, like, Nebraska or somewhere on a supercomputer. So what does that matter at all anymore? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's dumb.
I don't get them.
I don't get them either. But I think they know they're at the turn in this wheel where they have to innovate hard and do something crazy to get back on top.
Or they could just start making games.
Or they could just make good games, which it sounds like they're gearing up to have really good lineups in this next season of whatever.
That's what people said about Crackdown. And that's the only exclusive they've had in like 4 years.
Oh man, Crackdown. Yeah, that didn't go well. I was never really excited about Crackdown. I knew Crackdown would be exactly what it turned out to be from the get-go. Like, I never saw it as going to be anything better than what it turned out to be. So
I'm surprised. The only surprise with Crackdown is that people are surprised, because my understanding, like, I always expected it to be it feel like an Xbox 360 game with a nice coat of paint, more or less.
Yeah. I forget what the name of the game is called. Brody and I played it. Saints Row, I think.
Oh, I love Saints Row.
Yeah, I do too. I think it and Crackdown are cut from the same cloth.
Very similar.
It's very much just like hey, here's a city. Here's a bunch of stupid, wild antics you can get caught up in. Yep. Go do and just do whatever you want. And, like, that's what I take Crackdown as. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing in-depth, but it's something, if you want to go, kick around with your buddies and get into some trouble, sure, go play that. But, I don't know.
Yep.
Anyway, Steven, let's talk about a game that we do like. Anthem.
Metro 20. Okay, yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
No,
I was as I said that, I was like, well, I don't know if that Steven might get confused if I say it that way. So, Anthem, some Anthem news. They have laid out. Let me check the headline to make sure I got this right. The next 90 days of post-launch plans.
Yep.
So we'll talk a little bit more about what we think of Anthem after we kind of get through this story. That's really kind of our catch up, because that's all we've been playing is a bunch of Anthem.
Pretty much.
So let's dive into what they've got. So February 2019. That's right now. Today is if you're watching this live, it's February 25th.
Yep.
So like we have like 4 more days in February. So like, this stuff should be happening this week.
Yeah. Oh, man.
February's almost over, Steven. It's crazy.
It is.
Anyway, they say there's going to be a new free play event called the Outlaw Outrage. They're going to have another new free event called There Be Giants, which actually you started that quest or challenge, didn't you?
That's happening right now, yeah.
That's happening right now. So, yeah, that's already going on. And then a new free play event, Shaper Surge. I think some of these we played last night, actually, in our live stream. Some of these events we've run into.
Yeah.
Which, well, anyway, that's February. March, they're going to have new cosmetics. They're calling it the Elysian Stronghold Caches. So it sounds like that maybe that's a new stronghold, or maybe even just one of the strongholds that exists right now will have some new caches that'll get you some new cosmetics.
Yeah.
I'm all about cosmetics, so I'm glad to hear that. It says rewards, new items. I don't know what that means. That could be cosmetics. Yep. That could be guns. That could be gear, skills. I have no idea. If they add new skills, like that would keep the game alive to me. Because like I've already kind of sunk into my groove of storm abilities that I'm trying to level up. So if they threw in some like hey, here's ice orb or whatever, I don't know what I'm looking for even, but like if they just kept adding new skills, that'd be really cool. They're gonna do new missions. They're gonna have legendary missions. It says phase 1, so I'm assuming this is missions that'll get you legendary gear, which that's the exotic like top tier stuff. Yeah. So that could be really cool.
It's less Destiny exotic and more for the Diablo crowd out there. It's ancients for Diablo.
It's the top rung of rarity.
It's the tippy top, but there is a tier below that is. They've said the distinguishment is not very clear because Masterworks, and then there's legendary Masterworks.
I think it's just is it legendary Masterworks? I thought it was just legendary.
It might just be legendary. I haven't gotten there yet, but I've just heard that people like that's where it's kind of hard to distinguish. So we'll see when I get to 30, which I'm almost there.
Yeah, you are. You're getting really close.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then there's going to be a new free play event that's to be announced. Not sure what that's going to be. They're going to do another There Be Giants, and then there will be an Outlaw Outrage. So
awesome.
A lot of good stuff in March. In April, there will be an expanded progression mastery system. I have no idea what that means. That could be several things.
If it's something like, in the vein of Diablo, something like the Paragon system where past level 30 you still gain levels that go to like infinitely. And like, let's say every Paragon level you have a point to spend in different tiers of bonuses so you could slowly increase your magic damage and stuff like that. That would be cool if like there was a Paragon system with javelins where I could increase my flight time incrementally over time. That way I could help with my ranger build. That could be interesting.
That could be cool. Yeah, that could be really cool. There's going to be new rewards, new items. Again, I'm assuming guns, maybe new skills. Who knows? I feel like new skills is maybe hoping too high, but there's going to be multiple free play events that are all to be announced. There will be another Shaper Surge. There will be new missions, so Legendary Missions Phase 2. New Stronghold, the Sunken, is what it's being called. And then it says Social Play Weekly Stronghold Challenge, leaderboards, and guilds. So I guess we're going to get clans, or guilds as they're going to be called. So that's exciting. Going to have to make the Chortle Guild. That's going to ring a little better with our CG thing.
Yeah, that's true.
New Stronghold sounds awesome. We tried to do a Stronghold last night in a stream, and that went horribly wrong. So I'm excited to dive into more of those.
It didn't help that half our team did not go in prepared for a Stronghold.
Yeah, it was really funny because we were preparing, and I asked you, I said, like, Steven, I have this new really powerful move, but it's not a primer. It was just another detonator. Should I bring it or not? And you were just like, nah, do whatever. So I was like, well, I'll just try it.
I told you, I was like, well, I need someone to prime off of. And then Evan was like, yeah, but we can't prime the boss. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So just don't bring it. Well,
we just weren't prepared. It's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. We need to all get a little bit higher level, and then we'll make it. Let's see. So yeah, those are going to be good. And then in May, they're promising new free play events, new missions, and new items. So not a lot of hard things happening in May, but exciting to see that on a weekly basis we're going to be getting updates for this. Like I fully expect in a month, they'll come back and kind of fill out some of this stuff that we are kind of still in the dark about in March. So that'll be really cool if they've got enough content coming monthly that they could do like kind of like Destiny is doing with these
the seasons.
The annual pass right now where we've got seasons. Yeah. if they could on a monthly basis be like, hey, next month we got this new thing coming through, that could be really cool. Keep it moving. Especially, I imagine they can't keep that momentum, but that would be really great if they could for right now, especially since a lot of people are complaining that the game is lacking. It would be really nice if they could keep adding that content. So, Steven, let's catch up a little bit. We've played a lot of Anthem. What are our thoughts on Anthem right now?
So, Anthem is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I'm having a blast.
The moment-to-moment gameplay is really fun. It's intense when it needs to be. It has the ability to slow down and tell stories pretty well. People complain this game isn't BioWare enough. Okay, these people need to stop and just play the game, because you remember how I told you about that woman who
tell that story because I think that's a great story.
So this was a completely optional dialogue piece, character to speak to, and it wasn't even a dialogue piece. It was multiple dialogues. I spoke to this woman. I forget what her name was, but she was just standing.
Let's call her Sandra.
Sandra. So Sandra was standing kind of where you walk towards the launch pad. She was standing on the opposite end of it in that area. And I walk up to her because I have the option to talk to her. And she's just like talking about her son or something. And I was like, well, where is your son? And she said, he's at Free March, I think is what it's called. Free March is a fortress like Tarsus that was attacked and destroyed 10 years prior. And so I had the option at that point. My character said that Free March was attacked 10 years ago. And she was like, I'm sure he made it out okay. And then I had the option to either say, no, he's dead, or never give up hope. So I told her never give up hope. And she was like, thank you for your words. And then I go on a mission, and I come back, and I can talk to her again. And for the sake of, I know her son's name started with a T. For the sake of simplicity, we're going to say, sure, Terrence. So this Sandra's son's name is Terrence, and when I approach her, she's just like, "Oh, there you are! I've been worried sick. You're so late to our meeting." And I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am?" And she's like, "Ma'am, what's all this? What happened to Mom?" And it was like, oh no, she thinks I'm her son. And I was just kind of talking to her, and eventually I had to tell her, you need to accept Terrence is dead. And she was like, I don't know why you'd say such things. And she stayed in denial. And I left and came back and had another conversation with her where she still thought I was her son, left and came back again. And during this one, she mentioned something about my father's ashes. And she was like, I don't know where they are, or even if they ever were there. I can't remember right. And so at that point, I had the option, and all these times I had the options to keep playing along, to let her live in her lie. And at that point I said, I had the option, and I said to her, like, this is a breakthrough, because she was starting to realize that her reality was not as she perceived. And so I said, follow that memory. Tell me what happened to your husband. And she was like, the memory's painful. And I told her, as my option was, the memory will heal you. And she's like, it was Free March 10 years ago. It was a sunny day. You and your father were out front of the house. You were playing freelancer. And then the Dominion attacked. And your father was wounded, and you were caught under a pile of rubble, and I tried to get to you, and I tried as hard as I could. But then another explosion went off, and you, and then I said, Terrence died, didn't he? And she was like, yeah, you died. You find out through this dialogue, her son was not an adult. He was a 10-year-old boy.
Right.
Who wanted to grow up to be a freelancer. So she saw you as Terrence because she saw you as the image of what she wanted her son to grow up to be. And it was just like, you had to stand there with this woman and be like, oh, and her husband died shortly after, but like literally the next day.
Right.
And you had to you have to like basically pull this out of her. And she even says to you, she's like, how could you forgive me, Terrence? And then I told her, you need to forgive yourself. And she was like, thank you. I wish I were your mother because you're a great young man. And she was like, who are you? And I had two options. It was either I'm just a freelancer or I'm a friend. And of course I said, I'm a friend. And we went our separate ways. And like, for those of you that say that this game does not do good characters and good emotion, get out. Get out right
I was gonna say, I'm tearing up just sitting here thinking about it. Like that's...
And that was completely optional. And the characters are likable. Like the dialogue is pretty well versed. The options aren't great. It's either A or B, but I mean, who cares if a good story is being told?
I think that's what most people are upset about. Is I think they were hoping for like game-changing dialogue options, and I'm sure somewhere in the story it is gonna matter at some point. But
right,
even where I am right now, where I haven't really had to make any choices. My options are A or B. Like I've only ever been given two dialogue options, so I'm going one way or the other. It's you have two options for how your story is going to end, kind of.
Yeah.
And from what I understand of where the story goes, you don't have that much of an influence on like how it's all going to fall apart.
So here's the thing, though. People are comparing this to a Mass Effect or a Dragon Age.
Right. And
that's
I think
the problem.
That's the problem. It's nothing like that.
People have been so comparative in the wrong ways with Anthem. Not even with that, but I'll get to that next. That's why I kind of went down this train. So let's look at the game that you should compare this to story-wise, because it has to follow the same rules as this game, and that's Destiny. So tell me what happens in Destiny when you walk up to somebody in the tower.
They say the same exact line every time, and
they say one line, and then it opens up a vendor, and that's it. You're basically talking to a cardboard cutout. In Anthem, you are walking up to these people, having conversations with them, learning about their lives, learning about their desires, their likes, their dislikes, all this stuff. They're characters that have depth, and there's a ton of them.
There are
to a point where like you spend almost as much time in the fort if you do everything as you do in a javelin.
Yeah. And well, go ahead and finish your thought. I've got something I want to say about that.
And like in comparison, you know how many dialogues I had in the tower in Destiny that made me emotional?
Only the ones when it was about Cade 6.
It was one, and it was Banshee.
Yeah.
When you got the ace from Banshee. That was the one time I was like, dang, that was really well handled. In Anthem, there's been a lot. There's characters that you really like. There's characters that you dislike, but you get a kick out of how dislikable they are. There's characters that like you have a bond over, like Yarrow, for example. He's the guy you go to for freelancer contracts, and he's just this old Russian dude, basically. But you find out that he's basically like the freelancer's grandpa, where he just has such a freelancer pride to where he'll tell the stories of the freelancers, fallen or otherwise. And you have a dialogue with what's her name? Zoe, the mechanic. You have a dialogue with her after doing a mission. And she was like, I heard the mission went well. Yarrow was up here, reenacting the whole thing, proud as can be. And it's like you learn about these characters through those dialogues, and they become so likable or hateable, but in the good way.
Right. In a way that you feel about them, other than just like, oh, look, this idiot.
Yeah.
Like Raoul.
It makes you feel
whatever.
something. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Raoul. Well, what I was going to say about this is like, I wonder... I'm trying to get at where people are coming from this, because my experience with the story right now is like, yeah. I want to get back to In My Javelin. Let's get through this so I can get to my javelin. Like I've talked to one optional person in the Fort Tarsus, and
you're missing out.
It was this older man. I understand that I'm missing out. And
but it's optional.
The whole conversation, I was just like, okay, I didn't really mean to like get into a conversation with you. I just wanted to see if you had a thing for me. I need to get back out there with my buds.
But that's optional.
It is. It's completely optional. But even in like the main story stuff, when I'm with you, like I've mostly played this at this point with you guys. I don't think I could enjoy the story beats of this unless I was alone, or I was with maybe just one other person who was wanting to kind of chill and kind of get through some of the story, but join up.
That's been mine experience, because like playing with Evan wants to talk to everybody.
Right.
And so we've been taking our sweet time talking to people, getting to know them. But definitely when you play alone, I absolutely recommend talking to everybody. Cause
I'm probably
going to
get to that this week, because I'm sure there will be times where I'm playing alone or, you know, whatever. So, but I don't know where people are getting that unless they just have really. I think, like you said, they have Mass Effect expectations. And I think, like you've already said, the character development is there. It's just the options and how far you can take it and where you can take it.
It's just a little more surface level. But like, so people are comparing it to Mass Effect for story, which is not right. They should be comparing it to Destiny for story, which is a story that has a strong lore that will be built upon over time. That is the standard by which it should be held. And then they're comparing the gameplay to Destiny and Warframe when they should be comparing it to Diablo, because it has so much more Diablo in its DNA than it does Destiny or Warframe. And that's one of the reasons why people are getting so pissed off with it from a foundational level, is because they're like, I wasn't expecting this. Well, that was your mistake. This game is neither of those. It is even more Diablo than Division was, which is saying something, because Division took a lot from Diablo, but Anthem is like very similar, but in good ways. And so if you take your expectations, like a lot of the reviewers, the critics have butchered this game because they feel like the story's too short, it's glitchy, it wasn't ready, which in a lot of ways, it's not. I mean, it's not, if anyone's going to complain about how not ready this game is, it's going to be this guy right here.
Because you're a ranger.
I'm a ranger, and that class is broken.
Which like, you would think, since that was like one of the first announced classes.
It was the first announced class. It was what they showed the game as.
Yeah. You would think that would be just a little bit more put together, but
you think so. But
on this little rabbit trail here, the game. Steven and I have said this before. It feels like they made 10 or 20% of the game. And then it was like, we've got to get it. Like, I think they showed this, and it exploded. Like they knew instantly once they showed it at E3, this is going to be a big seller. And so I feel like EA was like, how quickly could you get this out? And they maybe gave him a date, and they were like, this is what it feels like. What if you guys got like 25% of what you want to do done? And like had a good base for people to start playing and play for a month or so, but then like know that you're going to add on more content later. Right. And then they pushed them to get a somewhat solid 25% out, and then we'll build that over time. Is what it feels like.
So yeah, this game. Gosh, what was I gonna say? That doesn't happen to me a whole lot. Normally, I lose my train of thought very frequently, but keep talking.
Like I said, it's a ton of fun, but it's got a lot of polish that still needs to be done. But it hasn't been so bad that like I've wanted to stop playing. Right. A lot of reviewers talked about loading screens. That has either been dramatically fixed or was dramatically overstated, because
people
I've had no issues.
People have been over exaggerating all of its flaws. Here's what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Regarding the EA situation, I would be willing to bet that EA did push to get this thing a release sooner rather than later. But BioWare has had an open door policy for their development process.
Absolutely. I mean, they've live streamed every couple of weeks.
Every week. I feel like it's been every single week.
I feel like that too. It's just like every time I turn around, they've got another live stream going.
And they're very candid about it. And they take questions. They are very open about the fact, like, if a bug happens, they're like, okay, yep, take note of that. We're going to fix it. Like, that's kind of how they've been.
I remember there was one time I was watching one of the streams. There was something in a menu and it was just like an icon or something.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Oh, well, I'm glad I saw this. That's a bug down there. Someone make a note that we need to fix that or something." And it was just like you could have made that mental note. You could have not pointed that out on a live stream and been totally fine. No one probably would have picked up on that. But anyway, yeah, I am enjoying it. I hope they continue to develop and do with it.
Here's my quick review. Kaylin asked me for this, so if I had to summarize Anthem, I would say Anthem is a game that makes the best of a bad situation. Mm-hmm. It's like showing up to a party early, but the people planning and setting up the party
are really fun.
are really fun and really likable, to where you don't really mind that the whole thing isn't there yet, you know?
Mm-hmm. Or that they ask you to set up chairs or something.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good analogy. Showing up early to a party.
So with Anthem, it's one of those games that doesn't feel 100% yet. You say 20 to 30%. I would say it's closer to 70%, because it's got the content that Destiny 2 and even Destiny 1 launched with, probably.
Right.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
It's got definitely more repeatable activities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. To the point that I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it today. It's like I've got so many things I need to be putting effort into.
So Anthem is one of those games that has the stuff there for the hardcores through difficulty, but the pacing of the story and getting up to 30 is more so catered to a casual gamer, because it'll take them longer, and by the time they're at that point, like over the next 90 days, we've got a bunch of stuff they're going to be adding. We don't know what that is, but it's going to be more content, more things to do, and they are making it to where that stuff is going to come in waves, so that the people that don't have as much time to play, the casuals, can get up there. Because if they release with all this massive content now, like
right.
I never feel bad for the people who are like, well, I played this game for 35 hours this weekend, and now there's nothing left to do. What up? It's like, well, you played the game for 35 hours. Not the rest of us
have that kind of time.
Yeah. Like they can't expect this game to launch with just an infinite amount of things to do, especially when this game is under a model. Literally, the game's lore is a world unfinished, and they are taking that. And it's not even like an inside joke. It's just like them. They knew going into this model that we have to go into a game that is not going to launch with everything. It is going to be rapidly expanded upon. So what would be an interesting concept for that? A world where the gods abandoned it, and it's unfinished and ever changing. That's really smart and meta.
Absolutely.
And so Anthem deserves credit in that aspect, to where, like, my thing is, reviews that are coming out for Anthem right now, if they are basing it as the final game, they're wrong. A lot of reviewers are basing Anthem off of what Division and Destiny 2 are right now. And those have had years to be what they are. Anthem just came out, and it needs some room to breathe. It needs some room to grow. So for reviewers to be like, oh, this game is a mistake, that's wrong. This game is fun, and it needs time.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it will continue to grow, continue to get better, and I am excited to go play more. In fact, I want to play more right now.
Same.
Well, hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortle Cast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com. You can leave a like at this video, share it with your friends, leave us a comment if YouTube still has those. I'm still unclear. I've been told that YouTube ended comments, but ours still exists. So I just don't know if they just don't know about us yet, or what's up with that. But anyway,
flying under the radar.
Yeah,
one of those covert channels.
We just flying under our radars. That's right. Leave us a comment if you still can, and let us know. If you're a podcast listener, you can leave us a review on iTunes. Still trying to get us on Spotify and other things. That's going to happen eventually. You can also email us at chortlecast@gmail.com. Be a part of the show. Send us topics, questions, yada yada. You can also join our Discord through the description of this video, or the link in our banner on, again, YouTube, chortlegames.com. And then last but not least, you can follow us on Twitter at chortlegames and Facebook at chortlegames. We typically post when we go live. We post when there's new podcasts and all that good stuff. So you'll want to stick around for that. But anyway, Steven, it's been a good show. I like this new format. I think it
was good.
Keeps things moving, keeps things fresh. Really good stuff. The podcast is not the only thing we do here on the channel. We've got a lot of content going on. The podcast airs Monday at 12 o'clock Central Time. On Tuesdays, we sometimes do this thing we call Team Up Tuesday, where we play a co-op game. This Tuesday, we are actually going to have a Team Up Tuesday. It will be me and Steven, with maybe friends, playing Anthem. We'll continue to play Anthem. I've still got a lot of leveling up to do. We still have a lot of content left to do, a lot of story left to do. So we've got plenty to do for that for a while. On Wednesday, we do our Let's Play. That's going to be me and Steven playing this game called When Ski Lifts Go Wrong.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Really good stuff. It's unfortunately our camera was out of focus, so the footage the camera of me and Steven looks a little blurry, but it's still funny. Then on Thursday, Steven usually does a solo live stream where he plays through some of his favorite games. Right now, he's going through the Uncharted series. We've been going through the Uncharted series a while. You're on 4. You're almost done.
This will be the last one.
This is the last one.
This Thursday. This will be the last one, and I'm not ready emotionally because, oh man, playing it again has been really special because even though no one's watched it because the notifications never send out, it's been really special for me because it's one of my favorite games of all time, and
so that ends this
the
Thursday.
Ending is probably.
Wow. Well, so tune in for that because that's going to be the last one that we do. After this one, Thursday and Tuesday are going to just kind of become open slots. We're either going to do Team Up Tuesday on Tuesday or Team Up Thursday on Thursday. It's an either or situation now.
Team Up T-Day.
See what?
Team Up T-Day.
Team Up T-Day. That's actually pretty good. I like that. Team Up T-Day. So this is the last of Steven playing Uncharted this Thursday. You're going to want to see that. And then on Friday, we'll have a live stream for you that afternoon. And then we'll probably do Anthem Friday. I don't know. Maybe we'll try something else. And then Saturday, Steven is going to have to do a solo stream without me because I'll be filming a wedding of people getting married. So it'll be something solo with Steven. So tune in, subscribe, follow us on all the socials. We'll get you taken care of. We'll let you know what's going on and all that good stuff. So, well, thank you, Steven, for being here. Thank you, listeners, viewers, for watching and listening. Steven, let's go play Anthem.
Okay, I'll do that as soon as I get off work.
Okay, sounds good. Bye, everybody.